would repent, and then through repentance, they will come out of the prison gates. This was the quotation that was there in Nagpur Central Jail the moment you enter there. And after you enter and started living there, you will surprised to see the sinners, the Gandhi's sinners. 85% of the people in Nagpur Central Prison were Dalits, Adivasis and minorities, and some of the OBCs. These are the sinners. And 85% of them were arrested and kept for petty crimes. And petty crimes, most of those petty crimes were not even committed by them. Those were the sinners. And all those sinners, initially when I was taken inside at 2:30 in the night, I was kept in a place called, a barrack called Adan, the entry point of the prisoner's life. They asked me a question by 3:30 or so. They all got up about my name and what is the crime. I was hesitant to say what was my crime. How do these people understand what when I say that I am arrested as a notorious Naxalite? I was hesitating. But then one Muslim boy took out a newspaper and read it out about the news. That's I am going to be shifted to this place. Everything was already in the news. They knew everything. There was nothing for me to hide. In fact, or nothing to hesitate to speak of. And from 3 o'clock to 8 o'clock, I spent that time with them, speaking to them. And I realized that they were all Adivasis, or Dalits, or minorities. The over representation, like in our university, it was only 2000 the reservation started implementing. In Delhi University, never implemented reservations till 2000. And there was no representation, not even now there is not a single professor who comes from a Dalit or Adivasi community. The kind of representation that you can see in the university and in the prison, our representation of these sections was there. I mean, as it is, there are people, 80% of these people are there, but 85% of them are. But even if you take that 15% that who I'm saying that the others, who were, some of them were really could be criminals, they were also poor people. But from the next day onwards, every guard in the jail, every jailer, and every the prisoner who is the prison jobs, they were all told that they should never meet me, never try to speak with me, because I was a notorious terrorist. Everybody was told by the morning. They were trained not to see and all that. Then the curiosity increased. There were 2,500 prisoners, and everybody wants to see me. Everybody wants to talk to me now by evening, by next day. So, I mean, it became like unrest in the prison. Everybody wants to see. And then my photograph was flashed on the TV screens for the next few weeks, all the time. And everybody wants to speak. And then nobody can enter, and neither could I go out of the under cell. So now everybody, the next day by evening, I started getting letters, secret letters from various barracks. We wanted to see. The letters are entering to a number of people. I mean, some jailers themselves are bringing secretly. And then guards were bringing this watchmen, and then this all kinds of people who come to clean the toilets, to those people who bring the food. Everybody is coming and carrying a letter, secret letter, that particular person wanted to see and talk to. So, I mean, it was very difficult for me, but at the same time, it was very exciting also, the life there. Then you could see that before coming to the prison, in fact, there was something happened which I could not believe with me. You know that I was kidnapped virtually, on the way I was stopped and kidnapped and taken to the airport. And from the airport I was taken to Nagpur. Nagpur. And the moment I was brought out from the Nagpur airport, I could see columns and columns of heavy guarded special security forces called C60. From Nagpur airport to Aheri, the interior place in Gadchiroli, there are 2,000 security forces were arranged to take me from there. I mean, it was night. It started at around 8 o'clock. Nobody was there to see, even these forces. But there were hundreds of vehicles. And I was taken in one vehicle, and then there is a huge convoy of buses and different vehicles started moving. One of the entire roads were cordoned off. Perhaps even the so-called most notorious terrorist or even Bin Laden might not have been taken like this. I was there, and then the entire column of C60 forces were moving. I was told by different officers who were taking places in my car that there were 2,000 forces. By the time I reached Chandrapur, the armed vehicles, the military armed vehicles were also seen. And a little ahead, the anti-landmine vehicles were there in my convoy. There were 20 anti-landmine vehicles which were brought for exercises and movements of these paramilitary forces in the interior areas of Gadchiroli district. They were all deployed on the road now. And they were saying that they were for my security. I could not understand what security could they give me. Then it was a cinematic scene. I don't know if there is a film director in this audience. And it would sound very exaggerated scenario for you if I just describe this. And it was moving, the entire column of the security forces were moving very slowly on the road, And then, over my head, the helicopters were moving. And the helicopters belonging to, very interestingly, Indian Air Force and Russia and Israel. These are the helicopters. I know, I'm not telling you on my own this thing. In 2 years, I learned about these helicopters also. Helicopters, perhaps nobody knows, even the media has not written about. Helicopters from Russia and Israel are like in the Nagpur. They are in the part of this Operation Green Hunt. And every day in the morning, the last 2 years, or 18 months, I was there, more than 18 months. Above the undercell also, we could see the helicopters, always moving and hovering above the undercell. It was not because they were not deployed on the undercell, but you know that the central command of the central India for coordinating the Operation Green Hand is in Nagpur. It is not in Raipur, it is Nagpur. Everything is coordinated from Nagpur. And highest number of helicopters are also kept there. And you can see that the entire column of these forces in the middle of my car with two IPS officers sitting on both sides, moving towards Aheri, and then these landmine, anti-landmine vehicles, armed vehicles, and then above they moving, these helicopters moving. We reached by 3:30 to Aheri. That was the time when entire forces were deployed, and 5 district SPs were coordinating that entire operation of shifting Sai Baba in his wheelchair from Nagpur to Aheri. Apart from DIG, Special Operations, and in the same manner, after a day, I was brought with the same forces moving again back to Nagpur on 10th night. 2:30 I was brought. 3 guards in front of the central prison, high security prison, was standing when I was, my vehicle was approaching the the central prison. And the 3 guards are the people who, they belong to the central prison with one weapon in their hand. And within flash of a seconds, one after the other vehicle were entering into the premises of the jail, and this jungle fatigue, C-60 forces are getting out of their vehicles. Seeing that, the jail guards threw their the weapons and ran away from the main gate. They ran for their life. Perhaps they thought that the Naxalites or someone was attacking the jail or what. They could not see that. The same guards, when they were deployed in Andasel, they were narrating what they felt, and then later on, after months. So I was brought inside. By the time I was brought inside the prison, I am coming back again to the main gate all the time, the central prison. My wheelchair was broken, and my hand was broken already, left hand. They dragged me in Aheri with my left hand. Because, the constables, they did it. Very interestingly, there are 2 incidents. The people who dragged me with out of law, these constables in Aheri, they are Adivasi constables. Why I never made a complaint when my hand was broken is the reason is this. I never revealed it to anyone, but I have this opportunity to reveal. These 3 constables were asked to shift me from vehicle at the Aheri police station, and I reached to the lockup. These boys did not understand. They, out of eagerness, they just took my hand and they dragged me out of the car and put me in the wheelchair. And there is no ramp or anything to take the wheelchair. There was uneven ground. It was very difficult to. There the wheelchair got broken, and then they were trying to lift me. In that process, my hand was overstretched, and the nerves got damaged. And then slowly, next 9 months, muscles got damaged. But these people never did this with any intention to harm me. Who is responsible for this? Can I say that these people, they loved me, they wanted to take care of me, they wanted to lift me. In that process, they did a mistake. So I never discussed this with anyone so far, but I wanted to share that with you. And then I was taken to the lockup. That night I was there in the lockup, till next day afternoon, 4 o'clock. These boys, the Adivasi boys who were the constables who were part of the C-60, they were very worried about that what happened to Sai Baba's house. Their duty was over, but still they came back to see and worried, and they wanted to see what they could do and all that. I refused to take food because there was no toilet. The officers came with the food and they told me that you take the food. Yes, I will take the food, but you provide me with a toilet. No, I have to go to urinals, I have to go to latrine. Without that, already 48 hours are over, how can I eat? They said, no, there is no facility of this. We can't. Then I refused to eat. But these Adivasi boys who dragged this, after the officers left, they used to bring mangoes, this and that, and they try to give tea, cigarette and all that. They are worried. I mean, of course, I met them even after 2 years also when I was about to come out again. I will tell you about this Adivasi constable, the story a little bit later on. I will come back again. I mean, there is, every moment, there is moments of anxiety, excitement, there is a kind of interesting human relations within the custody, within the four walls, and within this highly repressive atmosphere as well. So, in the after I moved into the prison and all these incidents were happening, by that time I could see that the entire prison was infested with intelligence officers from Hyderabad, of course Delhi, from Nagpur, Maharashtra, everywhere. They were there all the days and months and years that I was there, always. And they were given the only duty that whatever I was doing, they should report. Particularly, there was a heavy pressure on the jail officers. At that time, interestingly, all the jail officers were Dalits or Adivasis. And they don't trust them. The state don't trust the Adivasis and Dalits who were jail officers at that time. So somehow they feel that somewhere or the other they have a sympathetic feeling towards me. That's why they were actually not me more than me and me. The vigilance was there on the jail officers. I mean, after a few days, Vivek and others, Justice Khosla Party, they came to meet me.